Election day in New York City now just under a week away. The race for the next mayor is getting tighter. Former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, has narrowed the gap between himself and frontrunner, the Democrat socialist Zohran Mamdani. Take a look at these new numbers. A new Suffolk University poll shows Mamdani is leading with 43%, and Andrew Cuomo is at 33.6%. Curtis Sliwa remains at 10.6%. Cuomo has narrowed that 10 points. It was 20 points away in the last Suffolk poll. Sliwa remains defiant on remaining in this race until next Tuesday, despite growing pressure to drop out so that Cuomo and Sliwa do not split the votes. Joining me now is the man himself, New York City now independent mayoral candidate, Andrew Cuomo, former governor of New York. Great to see you, Governor.
Good to be with you, Maria.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to you on narrowing this race. How are you going to close this gap?
Well, we have about another week left. The gap is closing on its own. What's happening, Maria, is the more they learn about Mamdani, the less support he has. What happened early on is, he was very good on social media and everything sounded fine. But now that when you actually look at what he was talking about, there's no there. Also, the Republican vote for Curtis Sliwa is dropping because people get that Sliwa is not a viable candidate. And really, if you vote for Curtis Sliwa, you're voting for Mamdani. And my agenda is much more attractive to the Republicans.
Well, you were feisty in that debate. Everybody said you won that last debate. How can you continue to point out some of these issues that you're talking about when referring to Mamdani and what he will do to New York?
Yeah, well, people get it. They now get the difference that I am the Democrat. He is a socialist. New York cannot survive as a socialist economy, right? He would chase corporations out of this city, out of this state. He would chase wealth out of this city and state. And that just doesn't work for anyone if you have declining revenue. He is against the NYPD. He's against public safety. And one of the key issues in this city is public safety. I want to add 5,000 police officers. He has phony solutions on how to make housing affordable. The only way to make housing affordable is build more housing. I was the former HUD secretary, as you know, and I have a whole plan to do that. So they understand that Mamdani doesn't have a plan, doesn't have any qualifications whatsoever for the job. It's really getting Republicans to understand what President Trump said, that Sliwa is not ready for prime time. He is not viable. Don't throw your vote away. It's between me and Mamdani.
And, of course, we saw that from Eric Adams. I saw you at the Knicks game the other night with Eric Adams. He recently endorsed you. You picked up another major endorsement just yesterday from former New York Governor David Paterson. Here's what he said at your campaign event when you were in the Bronx. Watch this.
When we have so many issues before us, poor housing, crime, unemployment and underemployment, poor and inadequate health care facilities, and often a failed educational system, we need somebody who can come in and reorganize and give our children the education they deserve and put people in this city who can't afford it into decent and affordable housing. No one's going to get a free ride, no matter what some people are promising. But there is a great opportunity for this city if we elect this gentleman right now next Tuesday.
And your platform from day one has been ready on day one.
Ready on day one.
Yeah.
Qualifications matter, Normally you go to hire someone, what's the first question you ask? What are your qualifications? What's your experience? Zohran has never had a real job. Let me just say that.
Yeah, you said that in the debate.
Yeah, and mayor of the city of New York is important. This is the anniversary of Hurricane Sandy. We were watching hurricane season, Hurricane Melissa. This was the anniversary of Hurricane Sandy in New York. You remember how devastating it was? 50 people lost their lives. You're mayor. You need to know how to deal with that. There is no on-the-job training. But again, Maria, it's going to come back to the Republicans. They're going to make the decision. And they have to understand that if you vote for Sliwa, you're voting for Mamdani. And New York cannot become a socialist city.
You know, I mean, some people make the point, well, how important really is the mayor when you consider what's going on in the governor's office? I mean, look, you're going to have to work with Kathy Hochul. As mayor, will you be able to cut taxes? Will you be able to make the kind of change that, for example, Curtis Lewa has been promising?
Well, Curtis Lewa can't make any change, right? That we know. So the rhetoric is nice, but
so there's
no reality. The mayor of New York is a very powerful position. Yes, you need the governor. I know where you need the governor, and I know when you need the governor.
Right.
I was governor for 11 years. But the mayor in this situation, it's all about New York City. New York City is the engine for the state. The state doesn't work without New York City. And we have work to do in the city. We need 5,000 more police. We have to get taxes down, Maria, because people are leaving. We have to say to the business community, you're our friend, not our enemy. We want to work with you. How do we grow? And we have to have a competent government that builds housing quickly so the rents come down. Those things have to happen.
How are you going to get business people back to New York and, you know, residents who said, I'm done with this city because of crime, because of costs, and the rest? Are there incentive plans that you're working on to get those people to come back to New York?
Exactly. 2 points. First, we are working on incentive plans and tax incentive plans to get people to come back to New York. And here's my New York arrogance. They want to come back to New York. New York is a special place. Yes, people left during COVID, in the aftermath of COVID. Yes, quality of life dipped and people moved to other cities, other states. I believe they want to come home. This is their home. They want to be here. We just have to make it possible for them to come home. By cleaning up the place, tax incentives, they'll come back.
You said the last time we talked with you, when you came on my show a couple of weeks ago, you said, look, Maria, since the cashless bail situation, they changed it 4 times. And so it was a really important point, I think, that you made to speak to the viewers who are still on the fence. What do you want to say about that in terms of cashless bail that you may have directed initially? You said they changed it after you stepped down.
Yes, I passed the law 6 years ago. It has then been changed 4 times about since then. So that law is gone, right? You change a law, you have a new law. The question is, the issue is not now the bail laws in New York. It is judges and prosecutors enforcing the law. Because what we also had at the same time was this mentality in New York City among the political elite: defund the police.
That's right.
Decriminalize everything. Nobody should go to jail for anything. That political movement did a lot of damage to New York, and that's the judges and the prosecutors. The law is the law. Enforce the law.
Andrew, how did we get here? Because I feel like that issue in and of itself has been a huge divider for Democrats. And so right now you've got moderate Democrats, I believe, like yourself, and you've got these other extremists who are trying to push Mamdani forward. He held a rally over the weekend at Forest Hill Stadium in Queens alongside Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So what do you want to say about the division within the Democrat Party right now? And many of our audience, I think, agrees with that, and they're moderate. You might lean to the right on some things, lean to the left on other things.
Yeah, Maria, look, the truth is there's a quiet civil war going on in the Democratic Party right now. You have an extreme left, radical left, Bernie Sanders, AOC. Mamdani is just the banner carrier for that movement, versus the mainstream moderate Democrats. They now call me moderate. They used to call me liberal. Now I'm a moderate because the whole party shifted. And that's what this election is about. It is that civil war. I believe that far left will destroy the Democratic Party. I believe it will destroy the Democratic Party nationwide if that far left becomes dominant. Mm-hmm. This is not a socialist country. They're not going to accept socialist policies. They're not anti-law and order. They're not anti-business, right? So that's why I think this election is so important. It's garnered so much attention. It's not just about mayor of New York. It's about the future of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, it's a good point. Now, at that rally the other day, Mamdani knows you're coming for him. He had a lot to say about you. Watch this.
I stand before you tonight as the nominee of a Democratic Party reinvigorated in its pursuit of making government work for everyone, not just the wealthy and the well-connected. Andrew Cuomo and his corporate cronies did everything they could to make this campaign one of fear and one of smallness. Andrew Cuomo, Eric Adams, and Curtis Sliwa do not have an agenda for the future. We are going to freeze the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants and use every resource at our disposal to build housing for everyone who needs it. We are going to eliminate the fare on every single bus line, and we are going to create universal child care at no cost to parents.
He's going to freeze the rent. He's going to have free buses, free grocery stores. Who's paying for all of that?
Yeah. Well, this is why
We are.
This is why his candidacy is collapsing. First of all, he can't do any of those things. He cannot freeze the rent. The mayor doesn't even control that. There's an independent board.
That's a good point.
It would be illegal for him to interfere with the independent board. Free buses. He doesn't control the buses. The state controls the buses. It is all made up. It's all made up. And he's an actor. He's a performer. He does it well. But it's all made up. And he goes back to, we would give this city over to the corporate elite, right? He's a socialist.
Yeah.
Against corporations, against job production. When we brought Amazon to New York, it was the socialists that killed the Amazon project. They are just anti-business, anti-growth, and the city doesn't live if it doesn't grow.
Yeah, it's a good point that you make. There's also some questions about how he's getting this support and who's paying for the support. The New York Post today writes this: Zohran Mamdani faces criminal referrals from the DOJ over alleged illegal campaign donations from foreigners. So how did he become so popular in New York? I mean, you were the governor there. Obviously, you know all of this, what the governor is in charge of versus what the mayor is in charge of. But he was hit with 2 criminal referrals this week, filled by a campaign finance watchdog accusing him of accepting illegal contributions from foreign donors. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, I don't know anything beyond what I read, but it is clear. He came out of the pro-Gaza movement, right? The college protest movement. That's really who he is. He came out of the anti-Israel movement. At that rally you saw, he was with a fellow named Hassan Piker, who was the person who said America deserved 9/11. America deserved 9/11.
Unbelievable.
And he campaigns with him. I mean, he is, I think he's not only anti-New York, he's anti-American. How do you justify standing with a person who says we deserve 9/11? 3,000 people died, 150,000 suffering with 9/11 related illness. So he is totally out of sync with New Yorkers, and more New Yorkers are realizing that.
Well, this is very important because next year will be 25 years since 9/11, I believe. And if he's the mayor, how is he going to treat all of those people who are still in mourning from losing their lives? 3,000 people. I mean, all of the first responders that we lost on 9/11. I was there at the New York Stock Exchange. I guess I'm wondering if you're expecting New York to look more like London. You go to London right now, and it is largely Muslim. Women are completely covered up. I don't know if you expect, if Mamdani were to be in charge, him to change the look of New York as well.
Look, he is out of sync with how New Yorkers feel. You would never, you'd have to disassociate yourself immediately with anyone who said America deserved 9/11, right? It is so repulsive to all New Yorkers. I just think he doesn't get it. You know, he's dual citizenship. He was a citizen of Uganda. His parents own a mansion in Uganda. He spent a lot of time there. He just doesn't understand the New York culture, the New York values, what 9/11 meant, what entrepreneurial growth means, opportunity means, why people came here.
Yeah. And you said that the Democrat Party is going through this civil war right now. It's interesting to see the support that he has gotten from people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. But let's put the socialism issue aside. I want to hear about your vision for New York. You were governor for 11 years. You know what is needed for the state or for the city. What is your vision? What is your platform? You said you're going to hire 5,000 new cops. What else?
Yeah. Right out of the box, 5,000 cops, 1,500 in the subways. You're going to have to raise the police salary to do that because we have the highest attrition rate from the police in history right now. They're all leaving. But safety first, let people know the subways are safe, the streets are safe. Second, we have to build affordable housing. We need 100,000 units the first year, because there is no supply. The reason rents are so high is we have a 1% vacancy rate. Now, we can do that. We can build housing, but you have to be organized. You have to be competent. You have to make the government work. I built a new LaGuardia Airport, Kennedy Airport, bridges, Second Avenue subway. So we know how to build, but you have to do it, and people have to see the construction quickly. Third, you have to say to the companies that are here, I will work with you on taxes and regulations. Stick with us. I want you to grow. I want to help you grow and start to reach out to businesses and people who left to bring them back. Those are the top three priorities.
Is there a message that you want to leave our viewers with right now as they consider going to the ballot box, early voting now, and when they get there next week on Election Day? Your message.
New York will be a socialist economy if Mamdani wins. The city will not survive that as we know it, and it will not recover for a long time. Republicans, there are two choices, me or Mamdani. Don't waste your vote. Vote for Curtis or vote for Mamdani. Get out and vote for me.
Andrew, great to have you this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll be watching Andrew Cuomo right here in New York. Stay with us. We'll be right back.